Nobody talks enough about the cost of protecting your peace. Everyone says do it. Protect your peace. Set your boundaries. Choose yourself. But nobody talks about what you actually lose when you finally do. Welcome to Damola Out Loud. This is where we talk about life, growth, womanhood, motherhood, relationships, and everything in between. No filters, just real conversations. I'm glad you're here, because I've learned something that nobody prepared me for. Protecting your peace is expensive. And I don't mean expensive in money. I mean expensive in what it costs you emotionally, socially, and spiritually. For a long time, I was the person who said yes to everything. Yes to conversations that drained me. Yes to relationships that were one-sided. Yes to events I didn't want to attend. Yes to people I had already emotionally outgrown. I said yes because I didn't want to disappoint anyone. Because I thought saying no would make me unkind. Because I was afraid of what people would think. But living like that, it was exhausting. And eventually I realized that the exhaustion was not coming from the things I was doing. It was coming from the things I was not saying. So I started saying no, not unkindly, not with anger, just no. And that's when I learned the true cost of protecting your peace. Because when you start protecting your peace, people leave. Not because you became a bad person, but because you are no longer available in the way they needed you to be. I lost friendships. Not dramatic friendships where we had a big fight, just quiet friendships that ended because I stopped reaching out first, because I stopped saying yes, because I stopped being the one holding everything together, and there was grief in that. Real, actual grief. I also disappointed people I love, family members who didn't understand why I couldn't just be okay with certain dynamics, people who felt hurt because my boundary felt like a rejection. And that guilt, that was expensive too. There's a special kind of guilt that comes when you realize that choosing yourself actually costs someone else something. Even if it's not your responsibility to absorb that cost, the feeling is still there. I also lost the comfort of not having to think about any of this. The comfort of just going along with things, the comfort of being easy, the comfort of staying small. When you protect your peace, you have to be intentional. You have to think about your boundaries. You have to know what you will and won't tolerate. You have to be willing to disappoint people. And that requires emotional maturity. That requires strength. That requires clarity. That requires sitting with discomfort. There were days I wanted to just go back to the way things were, to say yes again, to smooth over my boundaries, to make everyone happy, because that felt easier than protecting my peace. But here's what I learned. The cost of not protecting your peace is so much higher. Not protecting your peace costs you your energy. It costs you your time. It costs you your mental health. It costs you your sense of self. It costs you the life you actually want to live. When you don't protect your peace, you become small. You shrink yourself to fit into other people's comfort. You swallow things you should say. You pretend to be okay when you're not. You wake up one day and realize you've lost yourself. And recovering from that takes even more work. That takes even more time. That costs even more than protecting your peace from the beginning. So yes, protecting your peace is expensive. It costs approval. It costs access. It costs comfort. It costs some relationships, but it buys you something that is priceless. It buys you yourself back. It buys you mornings where you wake up without carrying someone else's emotions. It buys you relationships that feel mutual. It buys you time for the people who truly matter. It buys you a sense of wholeness. And once you've tasted what that feels like, you can't go back. I also think something important happens when you protect your peace. You give other people permission to do the same. When you set a boundary, you're not just protecting yourself. You're showing people that it's okay to prioritize their own well-being too. You're modeling what emotional maturity looks like. You're saying, I matter. And so do you. That's revolutionary, actually. Especially for women who have been taught that taking care of ourselves is selfish. Protecting your peace is not selfish. It's necessary. It's healthy. It's honest, and yes, it will cost you things. But the things it costs you are often things you needed to let go of anyway. The friendships that weren't reciprocal, the relationships that weren't serving you, the version of yourself that was constantly trying to please everyone. All of those needed to go for you to become who you're meant to be. I won't lie and say it doesn't hurt sometimes. There are still moments when I feel the weight of it, when I think about the people I'm no longer close to, when I sit with the guilt of disappointing someone. But I also wake up at peace, and that peace is worth every bit of the cost. And that's it for today on Damola Out Loud. If this conversation made you feel seen, then this space is for you. Until next time, take care of yourself.